Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by for an important gardening service announcement from Plant Abundance. Hey there, how's it going everyone? Welcome back. I had mentioned this in my previous video, and I had a few people comment that it was new information to them, so I thought I'd make a video that specifically focuses on this topic, and it has to do with your tomato plants. Now, if you're like me and you're late to removing last year's tomato plants from your garden, then this information I'm about to share could be timely and helpful to you, and it has to do with preventing the proliferation and spreading of some of the various fungal and bacterial diseases that can overwinter with tomato plants. Growing tomatoes is one of the most rewarding plants in the garden if you ask me, but it's also a unique plant in that it carries with it these issues such as various forms of wilt and blight, black spot, and even unwanted and potentially harmful insects and larvae can overwinter and proliferate in your garden for years to come. And this holds true even with those varieties that have been specifically bred to resist these problems. So it's really important that when you take those tomato plants out of the garden that you get them completely out of the yard, and no matter what you do, don't throw them in your compost heap or try to work it back into your soil. Otherwise, these issues, even if they were ever so minor that you hardly noticed them the previous year, could come back this following year and affect your crop in a very negative way. So you might be wondering about the heat element that comes with a compost pile. Well, unfortunately, the temperature is not going to get hot enough to actually kill a lot of these different pathogens and diseases that can exist. So your best bet is going to be to throw it in the bin and get it off the property. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to ever take in any compost coming from the city or my local waste facility, because a lot of people would put plants like this in the green waste bin, and who knows the entire process that goes through these facilities and whether or not those fungal and bacterial diseases will continue to exist. So it is important, if you're getting compost from an outside source, that you make sure that those are details that are taken care of. As far as what bin you throw it in, the garbage or the green waste, I'll leave that up to you. Most organic store-bought bagged compost, by the way, is sterilized. And although that's good at ensuring that you're not going to have the bacteria and fungal diseases coming in, it also means that those soils are, for the most part, dead. They don't have the good microbes in there that are like the construction workers of your soil factory, which is why if I ever use a product like that, I always mix it with some of the native soil to bring life to it. So I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I feel like that was important to share as well. So back to removing those tomato plants from your property. Yeah, you can throw them in the bin, or if you live in an area where it's okay to do a burn, then you can make a pile of all these tomato plants and burn them up, and that ash will be safe to add into the garden. So once you have those tomato plants pulled and out of the landscape, you want to follow up with a nice raking and make sure that you get all the fallen leaves and debris that came off the plant in the cages, and clean up the area the best you can. It's also a good idea to clean all the gardening tools and anything that came in contact with the tomato plants. I know this sounds like an awful lot to go through, but it's really not. It's just one extra simple step. Just a safeguard can save you a lot of headache and time in the future. So now that you got all those old plants cleaned up and out of the garden, the next thing you're going to want to do before you replant is to practice crop rotation. So rather than planting tomatoes in the same area or the same plot that you grew them last year, you're going to want to rotate that crop to some other area of the garden. Again, just a safeguard to ensure you're going to have healthy plants and not proliferate any sort of an issue. There's absolutely nothing to fear with growing tomatoes. They're a rewarding crop, tasty fruit, but by taking these preventative measures, you're almost guaranteeing yourself that you're going to have a healthy, happy, abundant crop of delicious tomatoes this year and for years to come. So that's it, just a short video this time. Just wanted to send this information out to anyone who might be able to use it. And so with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Have yourself a great rest of the day. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.